I'm laying here because I just had surgery. I'm recovering, but this is actually a part 2. I accidentally posted the part 1 on my other TikTok that I created for the not-for-profit that I'm going to be starting. So I have to get my story out because I did not go through this crap for nothing. So if you're wondering why I'm telling you all this crazy stuff, it's because I went through this and it has to be for a reason. So just to recap, I was recently cleared of charges that were falsely put on me whenever I was 4 months pregnant with my daughter. I ended up in Grady County. In there, I actually went there twice because of my ex setting me up and trying to get everybody to think that I was the bad guy. So both times I was pregnant with Addie, nauseous. I was 4 months pregnant, so I was right in that part where you're like vomiting and all of that kind of thing. I lost 9 pounds while I was in there. Somehow after he did that to me, I forgave him. We got back together. Then he hurt me really bad, and that is the reason why I have had to have surgery, because he hurt me somewhere that is unseen in a sensitive area, if you know what I mean. And when he did that, he was in jail because of that, and he also strangled me, and among other things. So he was in jail, and he has this like wonderful godly experience, and this angelic being came to visit him in jail and everything like that. And like, yeah, I thought it was BS, but I do believe in angels, and I decided that it would be the best thing for me to do to be on his good side, because I had a feeling that he might get out. And if he did, he would have rights to Addie, and he could get her, and he would just take her, and it wouldn't be kidnapping or anything because he's her dad. And so after she was born, he told me all of this stuff. He actually had his mom tell me we weren't supposed to be talking, obviously. And I came up with a massive amount of money somehow. And he got out, and we got back together, and the state was very mad about that because they're trying to prosecute him. And so they came and they took my daughter. They made up some reason why, and they came and took her. And she was being fostered by my aunt. And I had to do all of these things to get her back. I had to move out from him and get my own place. So I ended up moving down the street. And after that, he would like find me, and there was a no contact order. And he would still like come over to the house, and I'd be like telling him to go away and stuff because I didn't want to ruin getting my daughter back. And like once I finally did get her back, like I didn't want to do anything to hurt that, but like he would always want to meet up, and if he saw me in town, he would like make me stop, and like we would sneak around a little bit and have these rendezvous. But even though he had this miraculous experience and rededicated his life to God and everything, he started drinking again and just started acting really weird. And then like he would come over, and I was calling the cops and stuff like that because he was trying to break in when I told him not to. And I ended up having to get a VPO on him. Even though I was trying to work things out, trying to help him and everything, I had to get a VPO on him because he and for those of you who don't know, that's a victim's protection order. But yeah, he tried to run me and Lexi And Addie, down on the road, whenever I picked her up from daycare one day, he just like, that's what he would do, is he would like try to wreck into us to make me pull over and stop. And so he did that again, and I had to do that because I wasn't going to lose my daughter again. Because she was 8 months old and she was still breastfeeding whenever they came and got her. And they really didn't have a reason other than they didn't want us together. And it probably was for the best. Anyway, I had to do all of this work to get her back. I was going over there for 3 hours a day after work, breastfeeding her. And then, I dried up and couldn't breastfeed her anymore during this time. So, and also I'm like mandated to go to these ICANN classes, which are for victims of domestic abuse. So I was going to that, and it was really good for me because I knew that I needed to get away from him, but I just didn't know how, because every time he would hurt me and everything, and I lived down the street from him, so he knew where I was. He'd show up there all the time. And so like I started praying that he would find somebody else, because whenever I was at the ICANN place, I heard this girl say that she like wanted her husband, he would abuse her so much that she wanted him to find somebody else. And then he did, and he finally left. So I thought that was a great idea, and I prayed for the same thing. And so like one day I'm driving home from work, and I see a woman's car over there, and this is after I had gotten the VPO, like maybe a week after. There was a woman's car over there with all this dangly stuff, and I knew he was being blatant about it because he wanted me to get angry and come over and get me in trouble for it, because he was always trying to set me up to get in trouble. But I realized that, and I was like, I'm not going to react to this, because this is what I wanted. Like, I prayed for this. Even though it hurts, I prayed for this. But, so, and I saw a different woman, like, walking over there and stuff. So he had multiple women that he was talking to later on. I found out because I went by the house to get some of my stuff out whenever he was gone. And I found his phone, and he was, like, on Bumble and Tinder, and he was talking to, like, texting 20 different women and, like, having sex with at least 10 of them, because I could tell by the messages. Anyway, this was, like, even though I had prayed for this was heartbreaking. Like, it crushed my soul, because I had bailed him out, and he turned around and did this to me. And after he hurt me, requiring me to have surgery, like, I finally got the guts to do it, because it was a painful surgery, and it's been a painful recovery, but I finally did it. But so it was very hurtful that I had forgiven him, and he turned around and did this to me. And that was when I started writing, and my writings came out as hardcore raps. So I started putting music to it, and I ended up being asked to be in this crew on this app, and like I was really into it and had a good time. And it kind of tells a little bit of my story, and that's why I wanted to share it, because I went through hell and back, and I was a normal woman that, had my house, and I was a nurse for like 12 years before I met him, and he like tried to take all of that from me. He wanted me to lose my license and all kinds of stuff. And the cheating thing, like, because we had promised each other not to see other people, like, I didn't think it was going to hurt that bad, because I knew I didn't want to be with him, but it hurt way worse than I thought. And so that is why I started doing this rap, because that was like my outlet, because I had been through all this hardcore stuff, and I needed a way to talk about it, and it came out as hardcore raps. And none of y'all liked it on TikTok, but that's okay. I got a lot of views but no likes, and I'm not after likes anymore. I don't need that for validation. I just want to share my message, and that's all.